Hey everyone. So I wanted to pop on. I'm not posting as much as I normally do because I'm going through a move. I'm moving. I just sold my house. I'm moving to a different state. I was going to move to the mountains, and now I'm ended up moving back home to Pennsylvania because I found out my dad has cancer. And so, I know I can live anywhere. And right now it just feels right to go back and spend this time with him and, bring his grandkids to him so he can really, be supported and everything. And, whenever you get to a certain point in your process and like it's close for somebody for that time for somebody to transition, or they go through something really serious like that, you grieve in a way, but it's different because you understand that we're all infinite. Like my dad is infinite, and I can still connect to him now, and I'll still be able to connect to him when he transitions. And that's just a whole nother video. But yeah, I really just want to just put that out there because I know a lot of people are going through things where right now it's crazy, and a lot of people are losing people that they love, and it's important to really put it into perspective and understand how the universe works, that everything is divine timing. Everything is happening perfectly the way it should. No matter how bad it looks, this is the way it's supposed to be. And if it's time for my dad's soul to transition within the next year or so, or sooner, I don't know. But if it's his time, then that's his soul's time, because maybe he's just, he needs to go into this next life, come out of this life, go into another timeline, and experience something else for his soul's own individual growth. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that for a second. But really, the most important thing to understand right now is, unless you want to be dragged through the mud with all these energies and all this stuff going on, you need to have faith and understand that the unknown, fear of the unknown, has to be addressed. Because not knowing what's going to happen next is the new normal, because that's what 5D looks like. It's complete and utter faith in the universe, not knowing what the next thing is going to be, not being able to have a plan, but just knowing, having that inner sense of knowingness that it's all divine, everything's always working out for you. And even if it seems like it's something negative, trust me, it's there to help you grow. And if you choose to perceive it in that way, you're able to allow it to help you grow, instead of repeating a cycle and making it like crumbling to that program, like just giving into the programming and doing the same old things you've always done. We are moving forward en masse and individually into a new paradigm. We are completely shifting. So you have to be open and willing and have that faith to be able to shift and make new decisions, because if you want to just everything to go back to normal, it's not going to. And the more you try to force it, the more uncomfortable you're going to be. And so that's just on you. Do you want to repeat cycles? Do you want to stay in old stale programming and in the 3D, or do you want to move forward into better energy, into abundance, into love, into everything that your soul desires? We can't just keep pointing the finger and blaming people and staying in victim mode for the reason why our life isn't working out for us anymore. Your life doesn't work out for you if you choose to not move. And I understand that change is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for everybody. It's uncomfortable for awakened beings that continue to, because your growth process is infinite. So even if you get to a certain stage in your awakening, you're still going to have to go through uncomfortable changes. But the difference is you're in a higher vibration, and so contrast doesn't feel like contrast anymore. It feels like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff happening, but everything's always working out for me. This is divine timing. How can I see this from a positive perspective? So, you staying in that faith, in that knowingness that everything's always working out for you, and that when something gets thrown your way that feels like contrast, trust me, it's for a reason, and just go with it. Lean into it. Don't drag your feet. Don't sit down on the ground. It's like It's like tug of war, and there's one team, and then there's another team, and the other team's like, hey, you know how, like, maybe if we just sit down and put all of our weight down and hold the rope, that we'll just win. But you're not, like, able to do that, because the light is going to keep pulling you in the other direction, and eventually you're going to be dragged. So you either go with the flow, or you learn the hard way. And I think that if you're somebody who's interested in watching my videos, you're past the point in your experience that you need to learn the hard way. Like, you see through a lot of the programming. You're starting to see where your own faults are. You're owning your own shit. You're really saying, wow, like, I need to work on this. I need to work on, like, you're not still stuck in that I know everything, judging people all the time, not allowing others to just be where they are in their own journey, right? And so I asked Spirit, I said, what message you really want to give everyone today? Because I want to, really give something that is universal for a lot of people, that will resonate with a lot of people right now. And what they came through with was, our programming is justifying our fears. Now, fear is the opposite of what love is. Fear is what they're trying to control. They've been trying to control with for so long. That's what this whole coronavirus is. It's fear. It's a fear tactic. And it's working. It's working on a lot of the masses. If you're an empath, you can feel a lot of that fear. It's like, why do I don't seemingly in my head, I don't seem worried about what's going on right now. But for some reason, I still feel this anxiety inside of me. Like, a lot of empaths are feeling that fear and anxiety that is infiltrating the masses right now. And it's just a lot of uncomfortable change, because that's how it is, for the collective right now. It's just like it is for the individual. Like, you either change or you will be dragged through it, and all the truth is going to be exposed. Everybody who is disingenuous or who has been manipulative or done grimy things, that is going to manifest in that same energy is going to manifest in their lives now. Like, the astrology, everything lines up with exposing what is stale and old energy and corrupt and not within integrity, and that's with individual relationships. It's the government. It's everything. Okay. Even you will be exposed. You will be exposed, and the universe will expose it just to you individually, or in your relationship. Like, maybe you're in a relationship with somebody and you're getting triggered by certain things, and you have to sit there and look at your own self to say, why does this bother me? Why can't I be at peace right now when this particular thing happens? And how can I move forward in a direction that's going to serve my highest good in terms of resolving that issue? Does it mean staying with somebody? Does it mean checking myself? What does it mean? And so when I talk about fear in terms of it being justified through our programming, I mean, there's so many examples of this. So people will say, we'll use like what's going on right now for an example. People will say, like, they'll say, well, the coronavirus, and we have to, like, get all this fear and the spreading of it and all that. And it's just like, you're programmed to feel afraid. And when you feel afraid, you're in a lower vibration. When you're in a lower vibration, you're susceptible to low vibrational things like the coronavirus, right? And it's just like, when you don't claim your sovereignty, when you don't know how powerful you really are, how literally there's nothing you cannot be or do or have or heal, or the possibilities are limitless. And because we've been so programmed to believe that we have to play it safe, we have to get that job that has benefits, we have to We have to make a certain amount of money. We have to stay in this job that doesn't make us feel happy. We have to stay in this marriage. I talk about these things all the time. Go back and watch my videos. And we feel justified in making the same old decisions with that stale old energy because our programs make us think that that's the right thing to do. But the problem is like we have defined these programs as being the right thing to do. When really it's just old energy and an old program that we feel stuck in. And it's scary as hell to move out of it because there's so many people who are asleep around us, our family, our friends, maybe even the person we're married to or in a relationship with, that are also in that programming. And so if you try to shift out of it, then you feel like no support. You feel like everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? Why would you quit that job? That job keeps you safe. That job pays your bills. But does that job make you happy? And do you have the ample amount of faith to be able to leave that job and trust that the universe is going to provide? And you say that to somebody who holds fear and holds fear programming within them, which is most everyone. You say that to somebody and they're like, you are crazy. How will you survive if you don't play this game, if you don't follow this program? How will you possibly survive? How could you survive doing something you love to do every day? We were trained since the time we went into the school system that this is what we do. We wake up early in the morning. We go to some building and do some structured thing. We're told what to do. We're told what to learn. They are the ones that put the information in our history books. We didn't choose what we wanted to learn. Wouldn't it be great if kids could just go and be like, hey, I'm interested in this topic, and then just freaking milk that topic until they're blue in the face, where they actually know and retain the information because they're freaking interested in it. We do things ass backwards. Our educational system, I'll keep going with that example, is programming. Why is it, since the one-room schoolhouse, nothing has changed except for implementing a little technology into the classroom? Why are we still structuring our educational system the same way? Our cars don't look like the original T-model Fords or whatever they originally came out with. They've evolved over time. They've become better. Why hasn't our education system? And why are we still quick to be like, tell our children and program our children into thinking that we have to get into the best schools. We have to compete with all the kids around us. We have to go to college so we can get a degree and get into so much debt. Thousands and thousands of dollars into debt. I mean, guys, I talk about this stuff all the time, and I have in the past, but it's the same stuff people are still stuck in. It's like, oh, yeah, that sounds right. She's talking about something that really resonates with me. But it's good that you know all this stuff, right? And it's good that you resonate with it, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change your life? Because you can know as much information as you want, but if you don't implement it into your life and make changes in your life and do the scary shit, that nobody's going to support you. There's going to be very few people supporting you unless they resonate with the same type of new age spirituality and mindset and deprogramming mindset of sovereignty and living your own individual truth. Those are the people that are going to support you. And they're few and far in between. But that's okay because there's so many people waking up. And you got a whole freaking community on YouTube. I know it's lonely in the beginning. And I know it's hard because all the people who have supported you your whole life are not going to agree with a lot of the decisions you make because they're scared and they don't understand it, and it makes them scared to see you do something scary that's scary to them because they're sitting in fear. But you have to say, am I making a decision right now out of love or out of fear? Am I working at this job because I love it? Or because I'm scared that I won't have enough money to pay my bills? Am I in this relationship with this person because I love them, or because I only get married once, or because I had kids with them, Or because we've already been together for years, like, how could I possibly start over? Or because I don't have a job and they do and I'm financially dependent on them. I mean, I could go for days in any subject and sit and say, am I making a decision out of love or out of fear? And then answer the question. Do this with yourself. Think about all the aspects of your life and say, do I do this thing out of love or out of fear? And that will help you in terms of discerning what's right for you. Because during these times, it's hard. The discernment is hard because there's so much pressure from the programming to justify those fears. I should be afraid because I might not be able to pay my bills. I should be afraid because my parent might disown me if I get divorced. I should be afraid because if I get divorced or if I leave this relationship, people are going to look at me in a certain way. That is not making decisions out of love. That is all fear. Fear is the opposite of love. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't recognize the fear because it's masked in this programming that we've deemed acceptable. So you have to dig deep and you have to ask your question in terms of every aspect of your life. Am I making this decision out of love or fear? Apply it anywhere. Parenting, relationships, work, where you live, what you do on a day-to-day basis, how you perceive everything going on right now. Am I perceiving this whole COVID-19 thing out of love or fear? Do I see how this can transform the world because it's breaking down the old corrupt systems that didn't work anyways, that stale ass energy, to bring in new programs that help the common people and not just bail out banks and corporations and shit? Like, to bring in new programs that are allocate money in the way that it should be, instead of in all of our tax money going to wars that we shouldn't even be in to begin with. Like, how can we really perceive this out of love and from a place of solution? Because the more you just focus on the problem, the more you're going to get more of the problem. Look at the problem long enough to know what the thing is, and then just, what is the solution here? And how are we going to make things happen? And is it of the highest good of all? Am I making this decision out of love or fear? You could do it in politics. You could do it in anything. That question will take you so far if you can actually answer it honestly and then implement change in your life, that scary change that a lot of people aren't going to understand, and then just, you're off to the races. Because the more momentum you build going in that direction, the better you're going to notice things. You're going to notice yourself in some old ass programming and want to make a change. And the more you're going to not stand for that old stale ass energy in your life in any way. Whew. But anyways, guys, that's what Spirit wanted to bring through to you guys today. As soon as I said, Spirit, what do you want them to hear? Let them know that the programming is masking their ability to perceive that they're in fear. Because a lot of people think they're not in fear when they're sitting in some old programming that they're justifying that fear with their programming. They're not making decisions from a space of love. You can do it. You can do it, guys. You just have to notice it. Noticing something is the first step in overcoming it. Like, you've heard a lot of healers talk about, like, you just have to even realize that there's an issue to begin with. You have to realize there's a program there to begin with. And you have to, it's just so much. I was going to go off into talking about contracts, but I'm not going to go there because that's a whole nother video. But guys, I really hope that you got this message, because a lot of people are in that place where they want to make the change, but it's like, you talk right now. A lot of people are talking to their families and people they're closest to a lot on the phone, or they're stuck in a house with them, right? And so there's a lot of influence from people who are sitting in fear, and that influence, you cannot let it hold you back. Don't let it hold you back. And it's okay. Let people say how they feel. That's fine. And just, you don't have to respond. You can just say, that's an interesting perspective, and keep it pushing. Like, you don't have to sit there and allow somebody to harp at you. Just say, please, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it is what it is. Like, and then just go on and make the decision you want to make. You don't owe anyone anything. I don't care if they're your parent, your spouse, nothing. You are supposed to be, you come first. If your cup runneth over, you're able to then give to others. You can't always put others before you, because if you put others before you, then you are depleted. And you are no good to anyone when you're giving them half-ass energy because you're so busy trying to please the world. People pleasers right now are going to be going through it. Just know that. It's the people pleasers right now that always let others in their life because they love them, usually their mother or their parents or something, or even, significant other or friends that they've had in their life forever. Always have played a big influence in their life, and then they're having to set this healthy boundary and say, look, I got to do what's for my highest good. And believe it or not, what's for my highest good is going to be for the highest good of all. And I can't tell you to live your life a certain way just because I am, because that interrupts your karma. And you got to play it out, and you have to make your own decision. So if somebody's making a decision, you're like, oh, that's probably out of fear and old programming. That's not your place to tell them that. You can plant seeds here and there, but you can't interrupt people's karma. You got to let them play their cycles out. When it's time for them, it will happen. Otherwise, you'll keep debating people all the time. It's just not worth it. But anyways, guys, oh my gosh, I'll go off on a million tangents and talk for like an hour, and I'm sitting in the parking lot about to get groceries. That's when I always make my videos now, because the kids are always home. But anyways, I love you guys. Please ask yourself if you're making a decision out of love or fear, because that is so crucial right now, to come from your heart space. I love you guys. Hang in there. 2020 is crazy, but it's also very awesome at the same time. Like, it's exciting. Sometimes I'll have this feeling in my stomach. It's like, I feel like so excited, like I'm about to get ready, like to get on a roller coaster. But sometimes it's like, is that like excitement or anxiety? It's like, so the energy is so insane. And for me, it's excitement majority of the time, but sometimes it can flip if I kind of I'm like super sensitive to the collective. So sometimes I'll like feel their anxiety creep in. I'm like, oh, but get it under control, So just understand, be good to yourself. Come from your heart space. All is well. Trust me, everything's going to be okay. Okay? Don't be afraid. All is well. This is all divine. It's such an awesome time to be alive. This is what everybody was writing about in the history books and all the religions and everything. This is it. The people who are left behind, those are just the people that are still going to be in the 3D. We're all still living on this same new earth. It's just some people are going to be living in a higher vibration, that new earth timeline, and then others are going to be refusing to change, staying in old cycles and programming, and playing out their own karma in the 3D timeline, and that's okay. They're gonna get there eventually. We all are. So relax. It all is kind of like a game, and if you think about it that way, it takes the pressure off. But all right, guys, I love you. You can follow me on Instagram or my Facebook, but I'm not really on there that much. So yeah, I'm on Instagram, and then there's my website, kelseyfranks.com, and I do have services on there, but I'll say that right now it's hard to take clients, so there will be a little bit of a wait until June. But if you still want to get in line for anything, you can contact me. All the information is on my website. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Just come from your heart space, and I hope you have an awesome day.